Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2 India Edition, where last episode we finally extended Nagpur to connecting to a bunch of different cities all via streetcars, which has now brought a load of people to the central hub, the main high-speed train station, which is now transporting a lot of people. We also implemented the brand new extension of a brand new commuter line that is going to replace the tram track route or the tram connection, which runs up to Balguam through Hubli, through Anantapur and into Bellary, which we kind of created a train station, which looks pretty glorious right now. The tracks bend around and run parallel with the high-speed train line and then connect into Bangalore, which then kind of come back out and then go towards Mysore. Now, I want to complete this line in today's episode, which is going to pretty much create our second commuter line within India, which we're now connecting even more cities up, which will bring a lot more people pretty much to Bangalore and the high-speed train line. Now, I'm also in two minds whether to add a platform so this commuter line can also stop in Bellary. I'm not sure. We'll see how we get on. We'll see how we get on with this one. I'm not too sure. But welcome back to the episode, boys. I hope you are enjoying the series so far. If you are, please smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you are new around here so you get notified when more episodes do come out. And I also, after I've built that little commuter route, want to look towards building around here. Now, you might be wondering, wait, Seniac, there's a big ocean or sea or river or kind of whatever you want to call it in the middle. We'll talk about that a little bit later, guys. So anyway, I want to first focus on this commuter route. So as of right now, we've got the line extending from Mysore to Bangalore. It comes round and then into Anantapur. Now, what I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of take over from Bangalore, and as it gets to Anantapur right now, we have a tram line. Our first tram line, or I should say our streetcar line, that went from Bellary to Anantapur, all the way up into Hubli to Balguam. And I'm now going to replace that passenger line with this train line. So when it bends around here and goes into here, it hits into a tunnel. It's then going to come back out at some point to go through Hubli, and I'm going to make it then terminate or end at Balguam. Now, I did think about maybe doing it in Goa, but I know a lot of you guys want me to run a train line going down this whole area anyway, so that's what we'll kind of save this for. But I will bring from Mysore a connection down to Mangalore, and that might be where we then start to build the train line that runs down this whole coastline, which should be pretty exciting. So I think the first thing I need to do then is figure out, one, where are the train stations in Hubli and Balguam going to go? Now, we have the train tracks just here, so I can make them pop out pretty much wherever. But I've got to decide whether I want to be on the left side of this road or the right-hand side of this road. Now, looking at it, it could be a bit easier to do the right-hand side, but then again, if I put the train line through here, the station, I'll be on the left side. Unless I just keep the train station on this side, so it's a little bit further away from the center of Hubli, so it's got a little bit more room for growth, maybe? Could be a good idea. I've done it kind of in Bellary, where the station's on the very end. Same in Nellore, and so on and so on. So it's not like it's unheard of, and I think it will cause the least amount of destruction all at the same time. So, buildings, stations. Now we're going to pause. We are in 1901 in game, which soon all the buildings and vehicles will be changing style to become a little bit more modern. So let's get this then situated. Do I want to do a 240? This is the problem I'm going to have right now. I'm going to delete this road and this road. Where am I situating the stop? Now I could put it here, which is not a problem, but that main connecting line there is now not going to be a main connecting line, but I can kind of get it to run elsewhere. Do I want it to be that long, though? That might be a little bit too long for what I'm currently after. So delete you, 160, drop you in there, and we might be able to get a few little connections coming on and off it. So let me kind of set it up to where we can have, obviously, cargo coming in. And then tracks, 1, 2, 3. And platforms, bam. So the space here is a lot less than the space here to the road. So The passenger buildings on this side would have to be a little bit bigger for the connection, which is, again, not an issue. As you can see, we have solid connections. Right, that works perfect. So let's kind of now get the rest of this now all built up. So standard setup for the train station that I've been utilizing throughout this whole region and series so far. Miscellaneous, we get the underpass just there. We get the canopies implemented all in. Very good, very good, very good, very good. Now, do I instantly make it hit itself into a tunnel? It's a way in which I can kind of keep the train tracks away as much as possible, because I've got to get it underground to connect to these, but I'm thinking about road connections. So let's see what it would look like with a track connection coming directly in right now. So obviously that's way too big. We do our 4 length. Bring the length right down. And what we're saying about there, is that about right? I mean, to be honest with you, I can go all the way down to here where we'd have that little crossover connection. So maybe I can go a little bit longer than usual. But the longer I go, the longer it sticks out for me to perform the bend. So let's just keep it to about 70-ish, 70. Yeah, we'll go to there. And that should be fairly easy to kind of connect up. So we've got to do the same over here, but let me just see what this... Oh, the slope is too much naturally. So we are going to try and bring this down. I mean, this is going to be really interesting. I might need to kind of redo it to shorten the angle. But if I bring that right round, and I can't bring it up, but if I get the bend on it, and then what side is that on, by the way? If I bring this one out as well, which is really hard to see where it's running, isn't it? There we go. And then connect from over here. Right, apparently that is now no issue. So that bends round and then goes up. It's a very tight turn, but it is a small commuter route, so we're not going to be expecting it to, you know, breaking any sound barriers or anything like that with the speed it's going to be traveling. Sort out our old little crissy-crossy right now. Construction here not possible, apparently. So not all the way to it, so we might have to pull it back slightly. Can I do the crisscross on the bend? Yes, I can. So that saves me a lot of issues in the long run. Bring you all in. Crisscross taking place. Or not. Too much curvature? Really? Alright, there we go. So there's enough space in between there for when I drop the signals now in, which I'll quickly do. So a signal there and a signal there. Hold on, the signal goes here. Where trains can wait, so we're all good. We're all good. That's a nice little solid connection, which I'm quite happy about that. Now this one, I'm not going to create a tunnel. I'm actually going to allow the train tracks to kind of stay above ground, but it does mean I've got to do some destructions to this part of the town. Now I don't normally like doing this, but I know, I have to kind of remind myself, Soniac, it will grow back. They will grow back, okay? Do not worry, sir. Do not worry. And then once I think about that, I'm like, yeah, we're just going to destroy everything. So if I can get it between these two little sections here, that's good enough for me. So, building-wise, throw you in, or do I put you more centered? Like here, maybe? Now, we'll put it directly on that road. Yeah, why not? Why not? Configure this... Oh, no, we're on the wrong one. We're on the wrong train station. Right, configure this real quick. All right, delete this part of it. Tracks. Right, I did get the right amount of train tracks, didn't I? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. I've done that in the past where I've like built a train station and realized I've only got 3 train tracks in. That's how foolish I am. And then platforms, bam, bam, and bam. So passenger buildings, we can get you in. And you, just for a little bit of kind of oomph. We do the miscellaneous stuff right now with the underpass. And the canopy shelters, for if it does start to rain, at least our passengers will be dry. Now, I'm going to keep this, I'm not going to do a tunnel for this one. We're going to keep it pretty straightforward. So I bring you out. bring you out as well. And then we'll crisscross just here. That's enough space there for the crissy crossy apple saucy. There we go. And then run this all the way in. So I want to see how it would naturally want to do this. So I kind of like the idea of it maybe running with it. So I know this is the wrong thing to do. And this is very time consuming. But I kind of want it to run with the bend. So if I chose them 2 spots here and ran these in and then chose them, is that the right one? Yeah, going this way. And then delete all this extra bit that I just placed down. I feel like it follows the curvature a little bit more naturally, which it really does, doesn't it? I kind of like that. I really do. So build all this now in. Get it all situated. And then, to be honest with you, this side of this commuter line is pretty much then all done. Just a little bit of smoothing in the terrain. I did the crisscross there. So terrain's all smooth. We're up the strength and brush and all that kind of jazz. Sort you all out. Just so it looks like it's kind of naturally integrated with the terrain and, you know, the land around. Maybe that bend there is a bit too much, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to worry about that. It still, for me, looks pretty good. There's a bit of train track there as well. Thank you. Sort all this around here. Now, I might just kind of connect up a couple of roads. Is that like a straight road like that? Yeah. Just there. And allow the city and the town to kind of build itself back up. So we couldn't get a connection there, which is actually a shame, really. I might actually just quickly delete you to build that road connection going across and then do the crisscross. So we still get a road connection going across there. Now, I don't know whether this is going to extend. I don't know if it's going to go all the way to Pune. So I might just build the road here for now. And then we'll destroy the town and city in the future. Yeah. But for now, that's what we can do. Okay, that's what we'll do for now. Just do some smoothing so the terrain is perfect for the buildings. It'd be interesting how this city here grows around on this side if it does choose to. But for the most part, that's done. Let me just finally get the 2 signals in that I require. So we'll do one there. And we'll do one just there. And for us, this side is pretty much good to go. So I could run the train line, which means then I can actually finally get rid of that streetcar line. Ooh, interesting. Now, before I can do that, I want to finish up in this area. Now, I did say I want this to run all the way down into Mangalore. Now, as you can see, it does like, if I can get it all in one view. Right, kind of here. Hold on. So it will start in Mangalore once we run this down. It goes through there. Mysore, Bangalore, Anantapur, Hubli, and into Balgwan. It kind of goes around in like almost like a weird horseshoe shape, which it goes around the whole outskirts of Tumkur. Now, what we're going to do Tumkur is we're going to run a streetcar from Hubli through Tumkur down to Mysore, back and forth here. It's a way to split the line in half, also collect passengers and from both ends to kind of transfer them on. So Tumkur will still have passengers. We're going to use streetcars for it, like what we do in Arcot and Chitapur. So that should be pretty interesting. Now, how I build this down here is probably going to be the indication of what this line down here is going to be all about. So I think I'll go back into play mode now, and hopefully these towns will bounce back from the destruction that I've just caused. They're already building roads there, which is interesting. So give them time to now do what they've got to do. Now, in Mangalore, eventually, from Mumbai, running all the way down here to the peninsula, the tippy toe down the bottom of the Indian peninsula, I want to run a train line going all the way up, which I think will be quite exciting. And with how the terrain is and it running by the edge of the coast, it's going to make it even more difficult. And that's going to be part of the excitement and the challenge of building that line. Now, if I was to build that, right, it would be quite difficult. But I think the station Mysore is going to connect to in Mangalore should be one of the stations that run down here. Now, I could have the option to do high-speed trains down all that side, but with the amount of stops, there's just going to be no point in stopping and starting that often. So it will be treated as a commuter line. So if I quickly pause one more time, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gather a little bit of land extra. So I'm going to flatten this out. So claim all of this. Alright, I'll smoothen it all out momentarily, but I want to claim it because I want this to be the start of where this line will eventually run. So if I just smoothen all this out, just for now, I probably have to claim more land. It all depends on how much or how big this train station is ultimately going to become. So let's see. If I was to build a building, I wouldn't want it there. I'm going to have to kind of play around with the roads. So if I ran this road like this, if I ran like an edge road like that to build off the train station or the train line on it. Now I could make it a little bit longer or a bit bigger because it's not really going to hinder us in any way, shape or form. And I'm going to place it about there. Now the reason for there is I could run this road. So the alignment of that road kind of connects to this. I know it's a bit jazzy, but it should work. Now let me flatten this a bit more out so I can get a little bit more space to play with when it comes to this train station. Now this is where it gets interesting. I've got two options now. I could either build a normal train station, like what I've built like here and stuff like that, but it's going to have to share the line running down versus the line turning in. So I've got two options. I need a bypassing route anyway for cargo trains coming up and down. So I've got two options whether to kind of build it with that in mind, but also add an extra connection on for this line turning in. Now that's going to be interesting. So let me play around with a few ideas. So track-wise, if I was to do a separate kind of track system, it will be like this. So that would be the platform. I'm sorry, the two train tracks there. We'll then have another platform, and then you have to set up 4 sets of train tracks. Now, not every station would be like this, but this is a way in which I can kind of keep the 2 lines separate. I don't need to do it like this, you know, might I add. I don't need to do it like this at all. This is just kind of set up so I can keep these 2 lines separate, so trains aren't waiting, even though they won't be waiting anyway. It's just my way of kind of doing it. So this last one I can delete. If I delete that to there, and I can implement... Oh, actually I can't implement that there because I need a little bit more land. So smoothie. So if I build the cargo platform there, and if I put this down... Oh no, not like that. Actually, you know what? I can do it like this. I can still bring the track in. Now, we'll leave it like... It's going to be like a dead end. You know what I mean? I might redo that last little bit of platform. So this is kind of like future-proofing me and keeping it all separate so I can kind of have maximum efficiency. I've got the room to build a station like this here anyway. So why not just take advantage? So to kind of plug the gap, I'll build another cargo platform so it kind of looks like it ends. And that kind of comes in and it's an end station on that side. So this should be pretty interesting. It should be pretty interesting. So we've got to do the underpasses, which go here. There's one there. Is there already one there? Why can't I build one here? Oh, it's because that's in the middle. You're an idiot, Sonny. They go here. Right, all these little shelters. There we go. So at least I've kept it then completely separate from how this main line is going to run. Now, all I've got to figure out is how, like I said before, this main line is going to run. because it will determine how we now connect in and kind of progress outwards. So if I ran this there, we'll keep that nice little bridge in as well. That looks pretty cool. Like this. So that's how that train line's going to run. We'll edit it and change it in the future. But bringing this out. Bringing this all in. Because this is going to affect the other side of that train line as well. Why is that not connecting there? What's going on here? Oh, I'll do it here then. Right, very good. Very good. Nice little bridge as well. Kind of cutesy. So we've got to bring this line coming out, and then it's going to have to turn to go up and somehow connect to this. Now, we're going to bring this out in a straight line and just see where it actually comes out of the mountain from. So it's going to kick out there, but it's still quite high in elevation. So I can actually drop it quite a bit. So I've got a little bit of kind of space to play around with. But it is quite the incline. It is going to be quite the incline. So run this as well. Nice little bridge as well we can utilize. Now, for those who question why I don't like using bridges, it's not that I'm against using bridges. I don't like using them when I'm like expanding train lines over vast land. So if I was building like a long line over land, like for example this. Hold on. And then you get bridges kind of coming in. I'm not a fan of that. But I would much prefer to use bridges where they would need to be used, like here. And like a little one just there for the water going over. I much prefer to use them there rather than anything else. So yeah. Should be pretty interesting. Right, okay. That comes down to there then. So we've got to figure out where this bend and connection would be. So I feel like we would be able to run to at least here. So can I get this to bend all the way in? Does it? Oh, you know what? I feel like there's room to push maybe a little bit further back. So if I was to bring this, right? Let's say I come to there, all the way to here, and then we bend this all the way. Ooh, so not possible because of this road here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete the little bump there, and then we'll address the road for the train line. So another little bridge there. I'm not liking how it does that little bit there, so I might just kind of... Oh, no, I don't like that either. Right, let me flatten or smoothen that little bump. And I think we're going to be all good now. I think this is the final bit. Run you down, confirm. Run you up, confirm. That bends round. Nice bridge. See, that's when I like to use them, when it kind of makes the most sense. And I'm hoping I can then filter this road to go round and then under the bridge. So that works gloriously. And then we'll do our crisscross just here. Right, very good. Right. So, very complex and a little bit over the top, but it's a great way to keep it all separate. It just allows me to have the train line going back and forth down this coastline. Separate from this, it still looks like it's all integrated, which is pretty sweet. So we kind of win in that regards. Now, did we do the crisscross here? We did, which would go there. There is enough room here to do another set of signals, which I'm not sure if they're going to like having to stop on the hill. But there you go. I'm going to delete this back. I'm going to delete that back. And then we're going to try and integrate now the road within this. So if I brought you under like that. Right. Delete this back one more. Like I said, we're going to try and, you know, connect it all up. Right, delete you back. I like the fact that they were utilizing dirt road there. And if I bend you around to then bend you in, I'm going to upgrade that to dirt road. There we go. So I'll use a little bit of the terrain to kind of slightly smoothen it. I won't do too much so it doesn't mess up too much of the landscape. Right, I'm not liking that big drop. So can we naturally kind of bend this around? Right, there we go. Smoothie of the terrain. Right, there we go. It looks like it was always meant to be like that. And I kind of like the big gravel pit they've dug out for the road as well. Right, that's glorious then. So technically, we now have this train line extending all the way to Mangalore from Balguam. So we can officially implement that train line. Now, the other side of this was, do I implement a stop for them to stop at Bellary? It will then mean that they don't all have to go to Bangalore and get onto the, chop and change here. They do have the ability to chop and change just here. The high-speed train line doesn't stop here, so it makes no sense for them. But I do have the ability to implement an additional stop here. Now, like I said, it will take passengers off there. It will make Bellary a little bit more busy. And I think it makes more sense because Nellore and Chudapar do have tram lines that run in. So they have great connections to just hop on the train line to go them ways as well. So I think it makes sense to to do that in reality. So if I delete this, because now we got to implement that. And all it means is me configuring this train line to have platforms, tracks. Now, this is the thing. I could keep it where it's got no bypassing tracks, or I could add in bypassing tracks. Now, bypassing tracks is good for cargo trains going by, but I don't have the ability to implement the cargo platforms because it will eat into that. So let's just say cargo trains don't use this side. I mean, they could do, because that's how much you'll have to stick out by. Which, looking at how that's going to align in, actually, that's a perfect alignment. So, cargo trains, they can actually still come in here. But what they do is they come in on, like, this side. But I've just realized we don't even have any cargo on that side. So, would that be the only cargo? You know what? For now, when we come to bring cargo to Bellary, then I'll decide what we do with it. I don't want to decide just yet. So underpasses, we'll go here and here. We then implement the shelter. And then we just got to quickly now connect these train lines in. So shouldn't be any issues. And the crisscross taking place should be fairly simple. So that's that side done, which means I've got to then throw a signal now in here. Right. And then tracks again. So I think that's a nice little addition. I think that's worked out pretty well for us to get that extra connection in. And because we have these streetcars coming to Bellary, it makes sense as well, because it makes Bellary then become more of a transport hub and more of a commuting line, and it connects more places up, which makes life a little bit more interesting for us. Now, looking at the length of here before it merges in shows us that we can extend the station down from Bellary, but we'll keep it as it is. It will do. It will do. So back into play mode then. Right. Let's create the train line. So I'll create the train line, get the train on it before I delete the streetcar line. So new line. Mangalore. Mysore. Bangalore, Bellary, and there's a Burr, Hubli, and then Balguam, and then back again. There we go. So we've just got to make sure that it uses both sides. So in Mangalore, we can utilize both of the train stations. So there's multiple trains coming in. We've got the ability for them to do what they've got to do. And unload when there's a train already there. Now, Mysore So that was on the right side. The second Mysore needs to be number 2. Yep. Bangalore, the first one. That sorts all that out. Bellari's all okay. Anantapur, Holt. Wrong ones. There we go. Hubli. There we go. We're all sorted there. And then Balaguam, we make it utilize both sides of the train tracks. Right, that's then pretty much done. So let's give that line a quick name. We've got a couple of lines here that I don't have names for. Actually, what are these? Oh, there are streetcar lines that I didn't kind of get set up with names. That's kind of foolish of me, isn't it? So, Mang to Bao. That's it, right? That's all I need. That's all I need to call it. Now, I do need to figure out where the train depot is going to connect for these guys. I mean, I could also implement the train depot in here, but I'm not going to. I need a bit of space that's kind of open. That works really well. Here could work really well. So building-wise, is it better to put it here or elsewhere? Because a lot of it stays underground. I got some space over here to play around with. So let's spin this. Oh, where did it go? There we go. Spin it right round. I'm going to implement it just there. To bring this. That's the least amount of, or the most amount of coach I can put on it to make it work. So, we need a train for it. So what commuter trains was I using over for this commuter line? We've got, if I managed a vehicle, the blue one with 5 cars. Yeah. So what does that mean for us then? So, no diesel, no electric. We've got steam still. The blue one, which is the 10-wheeler, which I still think I'm going to utilize the 10-wheeler. And then passenger with 5 cars. Is it these ones, the 16? Let me search by capacity. We do have this one here, which now does 20. It's a lot more money, so let's just kind of keep it to 5 of these. So we'll keep the 5 of these, which is an 80 capacity. I'm going to buy 2. Now, that's big cash from the get-go. But some of them little cities that we kind of driving them through have had streetcars coming back and forth, so they are to a certain extent used to the public transport, and there's demand to go there. I'm not sure how much demand, but it's quite a long line. So put it on our Mang to Bao line and see how we get up. So now then, we've got to, wow, we've got to delete this tram route. So manage the vehicle. We're going to sell all the vehicles on this tram line. That's now gone. And it's called Tram Line 1. So get rid of it. It's now gone, boys. Our tram lines are now gone. So I'm going to delete that. I know we're going to utilize it to go from Tumkur, but I'm going to kind of set it up a bit better. We're going to put an actual like depot building. You know what I mean? Right, autosave's kicking in right now. So it's got to wait for that, boys. Wait for the autosave. We all done? We're all done. So, get rid of you, get rid of you. So I'm hoping the big wave of people that were waiting at the tram station right now, they're hopefully going to walk to the train station. That's what we're hoping for. So it came into Bellary, which that doesn't need to change now. That's kind of pretty much as it is. So all the reminiscence of, the only thing that remains of that previous tram line is the roads. But now we've got this going on. So hopefully it all works out. So we're going to try and get Tom Kerr now all connected up to Mysore. So we now need to implement 2 tram stops now. I'm just kind of wondering how big to go. I could go night. It doesn't have to be amazingly or massively huge, but I think something like that would work out. Haven't got to have the full depth because it's not going to carry that many people. So that there, and then do the same here. So I'm kind of setting it up where it touches both sides, so we've got great connections. And then for this, we can do the same as well. So there's nothing crazy going on. It's simple, it's effective, and it just needs to go back and forth. So road-wise, tools, I've got to add tram tracks on them. Tram track tool. Oh, hang on, we're upgrading to like a different type of street here, aren't we? Alright, adding tram tracks in. So that's just got to go back and forth there. And to be honest with you, do I turn here or turn there? I might change that connection into there. So it'll go this way. So can I get rid of tram tracks? I can. So let me redo this road here. And it would be nice if this road here kind of came out. Alright, it's a bit chunky, that road now, isn't it? There we go. Tram tracks. That's a better connection. So, I'm now going to get rid of the tram tracks that I've had in previously. How do I get rid of them? It's a lot more difficult to get rid of them than I thought. Am I building them in? What am I doing here? Am I like upgrading them and then getting rid of them? I ain't got a clue how this is working here. But them tram tracks are now all gone. So play mode again. Right, I could be here all day, couldn't I? I could literally be here all day doing this. Right, because these are fairly new, is it just... Yeah, okay, it's one click just to get rid of them. And then... Here. Right, all the original tram tracks are now gone. We've removed history from these mean streets. It does mean that this... Oh, hang on, we got this one here as well. This now doesn't work out as well. But I'll delete this anyway. Okay, we'll delete that. We'll just quickly smoothen the terrain on this little additional road that I implemented. And then we'll get in building a tram depot. Let's put it on that connection right there. Buy some streetcars. Let's go capacity. And we've got new ones. So I have been using the Ivans with 11 capacity. And now we've got the CE2/2 Street. I can't even say that word. So I might just buy 2, 3. Let's just buy 2 on this line and see. Oh, I haven't even built the line yet. Right, hold on. New line. There we go. And then make it where they can stop at all platforms at these stations. So if there's a tram on a platform, it can go and use any available one that is free. And that's what we need to do. So back to you. Select these two. Online free. Missing tram tracks. Oh yeah, we got to do the ones that come out the building. Is that right? No, we're missing tram tracks. What's not electric? Oh, this bit here. Well, there we go. We're all good. So that connects them up then. So we've now just connected a fair bunch of towns and cities up with our brand new systems. That's absolutely glorious. 10 out of 10, Seniac. 10 out of 10. So we'll give it time, see how busy it is. It does become a little bit of a shortcut. I don't know how useful that would become. But we have the trains line set up anyway. There's a lot of people waiting over here as well, by the way. So we're going to have to start thinking about changing some stuff up over there. Now, the Bellary stop actually working pretty well. There's a few people jumping on this. So that's good to see. Now, is our tram routes busy? There's 59-ish there. There's 52 there. There's 60 there. There's 8 there. So that line, manage vehicles, I have 8. Now, I'm going to replace 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with the new tram. And those additional 2 we're going to sell. So I've reduced the frequency in which they now arrive, but I've increased the capacity of what each one of them can now hold. Now, does the same logic apply here? I'd say no. Does this line make much cash? Not really. We do have 8 vehicles, which I feel like is not needed. So I'm going to get rid of 4. And do I see replacing them with 4 here going to make much of a difference? No. I'm going to replace them with 3. Because it is a shorter distance. It's not as hectic. But I don't know how that additional stop there is going to change things. So we'll kind of play down the replacements to begin with. See how we got on with those. But it's a much bigger city here that they're kind of going to versus over here in Nalor. So we'll see what happens with that one. It's going to be interesting no matter what anyway. Now, Mysore should start having a big growth, which is now starting to have one. Train there's looking not so much that busy, but there's a lot of people on the way back. Got to give it time for these to all pretty much spread themselves out. Right. Right. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this. Very, very excited. Right. So the train is actually going to Mangalore right now for the first time. And there's 15 people waiting there. So we'll have to give it time because this is going to take a while before that line now makes any cash. Maybe we should have just stuck to one train to begin with. Finance-wise, we'll see. It'll take a long time or a while to kind of embed the amount of passengers. But I also feel like the trains aren't really spaced out that well right now. So give them time, boys. Give them sweet, sweet time. It's all we can do. Look at the radius it collects there. That's pretty good, isn't it? Now, that is great connections. We are more intertwined and connected than ever before. We've now got so many more kind of cities and passengers we can now reach on this ever-connected network. This is looking pretty good. So it sets us up quite nicely for eventually building the long run down here. I am still waiting for elevated train lines before I can finish the route coming up this way, which means we have to then think about how this end is going to work. Now, we've got the train line that tears through there that we're not doing anything with just yet because, like I said, I'm waiting for elevated train lines. And what I'm going to do is run a line from Tinnavelli through Madurai to Trichinopoly to Puducherry to Nellore to Bezwara and then pretty much end in Hyderabad. So it kind of jumps a couple of stations from the high-speed train line, even though it goes further, but it is a commuter line and it will connect up quite a few. But as it kind of progresses through here, we do have in Commuter a line, this one there, that comes down and then just ends here because we haven't done anything with it. So what I could do with this is run this through Madurai, which the overpass happens as it kind of goes up to Trichinopoly and on it goes. But this can run down here, crisscross there, and then come down to Ramnad, end here, which then connects to a harbour that then goes over to Jaffna. You see where this is going, boys? You see where this is going? Oh, what do you guys reckon? Should we set up a little water crossing? Passenger crossing right now with ships in the next episode? That's going to be interesting. That's going to make this whole area very, very connected. Look at the buildings here, by the way, building themselves. Right on the edge. That's scary. Don't walk out your back door, because that's a big drop. That's a real big drop. Right, very good. Very good, very good, very good, very good, very good. So this train's coming in. It's going to pick up quite a few amount of people right now, and this is where we should start to see money being made. Not bad. Not bad at all. So, would you say we're making more money? Not quite just yet, because we've got to wait for these lines to now kind of kick in with the cash. The line 3 that we just kind of set up is yet to make big stacks of money. It's yet to make any money right now. What's going on with this? Where is that tram? It's here. Have you got anybody on board? You got 16. They're on the way down. That's where we should start making our money. We've got the Bell to Now tram line here, which we just kind of switched out the trams, which is a lot more expensive. But now, because we've reduced the frequency, it gives more people to kind of build up at the platform before we transport them. So that kind of works out in a weird way. And then, of course, we've got the Mang to Bao line, which is the brand new commuter line here that goes all the way around. That will take a while before we do start seeing it make some sweet cash. Now, where's the train for that? It's on the way out. It's got 77 people on board, which a lot of them are going to get dropped off in Bangalore. Which, here's the train. Because a lot of them would want to jump on the high-speed train line and vice versa, switch around. 68 people. It's getting to the point where it could start making money at some point. You just never know. There goes that high-speed train line, which is still technically not high-speed, but it's still a lot higher and faster than the other ones we currently have going around. So this is going to drop off here. Not too much money, but enough to then kind of load it back up with a ton of people on board. And off it goes. So give it time and it will make money, boys. Give it time and it will make sweet, sweet money. So this part of India right now is becoming very, very connected, and I'm very excited to see where it's going to go. Have we broken any record income years? Wow, look at that. Those are from the previous episode, I think. But that's really good, isn't it? I don't know if that's the previous episode or this episode. 94.1 million. 83.7. That's got to be... What year's... No, this is this year. That's 1901. That's crazy. How we earn so much cash? It's got to be the implementations of these brand new lines and stuff, isn't it? It really has. I spent all that money there to make money here. And hopefully we can keep on top of things. Guys, we're going to end it here. Hope you did enjoy this episode. If you did, please smash that like button down below. And until next time, I'll see you all soon. So, goodbye.